Greetings, viewer. Welcome to Caritas Focus. My name is Flavia Kunihira, and on today's episode, we discuss Laudato Si, a letter written by Pope Francis to the Church. Specifically, in this episode, we'll tackle the ecological message in this letter. Joining me on the show is the Assistant National Director, Caritas Uganda, Father Dennis Ochanda, with whom we're going to have an in-depth discussion on the themes and principles of this letter and how Caritas Uganda operates them in its day-to-day operations. You're most welcome, Father.
Thank you.
First and foremost, what is Laudato Si?
Thank you, Flavia, and thank you, all viewers. We are happy to be with you today to discuss what the Holy Father, Pope Francis, tells us with regard to the environment and the earth, which is one of our most cherished gifts from God. Laudato Si is the short form of Laudato Si mi Signore. That is the full name of this encyclical letter. Laudato Si mi Signore, which means praise to you, my Lord. So Laudato Si itself means praise to you. So 24th May 2015, which was the solemnity of Pentecost, the Holy Father, Pope Francis, released this encyclical letter. An encyclical letter is not just, a one-page letter or 1 to 3 pages. It is a whole document that ensues from the Holy Father detailing his teaching founded on and in the Bible, with backups and quotations from all other writings before him on a particular topic which he wants the church and the whole world to know. So this particular one, Laudato Si, is on protecting and keeping the earth, which is our common home. And his message to us is, read this book, read this encyclical, put it into practice, and Mother Earth will be saved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We understand that Laudato Si has quite a number of themes and principles. How does Caritas Uganda integrate these principles into its mission and day-to-day operations?
Thank you, Flavia. It is true, a book, a document, a letter ensuing from the Holy Father should have quite a number of issues it brings forth to the church, a number of topics, a number of themes. And so this one, which is telling the church, telling the world to care for the earth as our common home, speaks a lot to all the departments under which the church does its work. And so Caritas, with its mission of integral human development from its vision of life in its fullness for all, cherishes this document, because this document is telling us that, yes, you are human beings, but you are not just in a vacuum, you are on earth. So care for this earth so that it also cares for you. And so when we as people entrusted with this office of Caritas go out to do our work, we ensure that the main things in this document are our guide, are our compass, so that we are one with the Holy Father in our work, in executing our mandate, which can never be outside what the church is and what the church teaches.
Okay. Looking at the letter, Laudato Si, one of the key areas is environmental stewardship. What is the relationship between the church and environmental stewardship?
Thank you. The church is Jesus Christ among his people. The church is the community of believers who profess the Trinity through Mother Mary's intercession and the prayers of the saints, and wants that not only human beings but the whole of creation is saved. And so the church exists in the world, and the world has human beings, has plants, has animals, has other creatures. And when God created all these, he saw that they were good. Each day he saw that what he created was good. And therefore, if the church is the face of God in the world, it has to care for all these creatures, because all are God's and all are good. We can't destroy them. We can't an inch say that we can do without them, because they are meant, together with us, to give glory to God in whatever way.
Thank you very much. What are some of the key ecological messages in Laudato Si regarding our responsibility to the environment?
Thank you. Laudato Si has many messages, but all anchored around care for the earth, which is our common home. So some of the key ecological issues are care for water and water bodies. There's the issue of pollution. There's the issue of waste. There's the issue of the throwaway culture, which we see a lot in the world today. And then there's the issue of the loss of biodiversity. The concern of the Holy Father is that the world seems to think that the only creatures that should remain on earth is human beings. And yet, if that were the case, then there would be totally nothing on earth. Human beings cannot exist without the environment, without the other creatures. And so these issues, he brings them up to open our eyes and ears to the reality that is about to become a time bomb that may soon detonate to the detriment of humanity. And so he wants all of us to pay attention and act quickly.
So in the world, we have three themes. We have the environmental theme, we have the social and the economic theme. So how does the document Laudato Si interconnect the environment, the social, and the economic well-being of the people?
Yes, thank you. We are social beings. We need one another. And as we interact, we need money, we need goods, we need services. So the social well-being is supported by the economic well-being. And we get these goods and services and money from use of the other creatures, from use of the environment, from use of all the other things that God created. And so the environment used by human beings gives us money, goods, services. But as we interact with these goods, services, money, and the environment, we should know that this earth was handed over to us by our bygone ancestors. And we should ask ourselves, what are we going to hand over to the people after us? Therefore, responsible use of all the things around us, so that after us, the world continues, and our children, our children's children, will enjoy the environment and all the things that God has given us.
Picking up from that point, we have case scenarios whereby we want to make money, but then again, we have to protect our environment. For example, we have the Manufacturers Association, and most of their goods are basically around plastics, and it's generating income and also tax for the country. But however, how do we draw the line between having to make money and also having to keep our economy safe?
Yeah, thank you. It is said that if you want to grow higher, don't do it by making others become less. It is true, we are making money, we are making the things that give us money. Plastics, polythenes, and many other things. Now the question is, part of the environment used to make these things, are we replenishing? Are we putting back? If we have got one tree off the earth, how many have we put back? If we have these plastics, which helped us to contain some of our things, how do we dispose of them in ways that show accountability for the world and responsibility towards all that God has given us? Of course, we have to manufacture. We have to combine the factors of production to make us have things. That one is true. We need things. And we are not going to look at the earth and say, fine, God made it good, so we just look at them. We use them responsibly. We dispose of responsibly. Because then the Pope is saying, there's a lot of pollution, there's a lot of waste, there's a lot of throwing away. People eat, and then there are other people who have not eaten, and yet we have thrown food away. Yet that would have helped somebody who didn't eat. We use these plastics, we litter our compound, and wherever we find ourselves, and thus no responsible use of all these things. So I thank you for this question. Yes, we use the environment to make what gives us happiness. But how do we ensure that the people coming after us will also use this same environment from which they can also get happiness?
Thank you very much. How does Caritas Uganda interpret and apply the principles of Laudato Si in its projects, especially the project themes?
Thank you. Laudato Si is very clear that the earth is God's gift to us. We are also God's gift to the other creatures around us. We depend on the earth, and the earth also depends on us. Use and continuity must be balanced so that tomorrow we'll have all the things that God created. And so Caritas Uganda, in its operations, in its work, does advocacy. Advocacy means talking on behalf of, so that certain things are done in the interests of some groups, of some principles, of some policies. So we do a lot of that. Then we also encourage not just tree planting, but tree growing. You know, you can plant a tree and then you leave it there. You say, I have planted. But have you followed it up to ensure that this tree planted grows and becomes, in fact, the tree that we want, from seedling to a tree? So we do a lot of that. We do a lot of campaigns for a clean environment. We do a lot of campaigns for clean water, good water, accessible water, and sustainable sanitation. There's a lot of that in our programs. Under our livelihood interventions, we ensure that the soil is well used for the people now and conserved for the people in the future. We ensure that natural trees whose seeds you can't get anywhere are preserved, so that the future also gets to know that these trees are available. And so wherever we find ourselves, in all 19 dioceses, many of whom act as dioceses, but some of whom have interventions and hands and supports from us, we ensure that all our interventions are environment sensitive, so that the earth, which is our common home, is preserved.
Thank you very much. Could you give us some specific scenarios whereby Caritas Uganda has reflected the ecological teachings of Laudato Si?
Thank you very much for your question. We have interventions in Jinja, in Nebi, in Lira, in Gulu, in Arua, in Kasese, in Kabale, in the refugee camps in Bidibidi, and in all 5 dioceses of the Kampala Ecclesiastical Province. And in these interventions, we have activities that support tree growing and environmental conservation. We have activities that target a clean and sustainable interaction between humans and other creatures. For Namugongo celebrations, for example, we insist, advocate for, and by ourselves ensure that polythene and all items that litter the compound there before and after the celebrations are all gathered and put in one place and securely disposed of. So these and many others which can be mentioned show that yes, Caritas Uganda not only talks but also does, and ensure that other people are also taught and enabled to do, so that Mother Earth is preserved.
Thank you very much. In what ways does Caritas Uganda collaborate with the government, collaborate with the local communities and other civil societies to promote these environmental principles of the letter by Pope Francis?
Yeah, thank you. The world as it is such that you can't do things alone. You can't intervene alone. So Caritas Uganda enters any place through the church. Our entry point is the church because we are a church. But we make sure when we in that place, government knows of our presence. Because the same people we call worshippers, Christians, congregants, government calls them citizens. So we make sure the sub-county, the district, the village know of our presence, know of our interventions, which may be complementary or supplementary. And in the event that government wanted to do the same thing where we are going, then they have an alternative, an option of going maybe to the next village, to the next needy location. Caritas Uganda belongs to networks. For example, PELAM, Participatory Ecological Land Use Management. Caritas Uganda belongs to that. Caritas Uganda is the coordinating body of Caritas fraternity in all 19 dioceses. Caritas Uganda partners with NGOs. Caritas Uganda partners with ministries like Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries, and all other departments and arms of government that are in for the preservation of Mother Earth. Because then, this earth is for all of us. It is not just for the church, it is not just for the government, but it is for every human being on earth and all creatures that God has made. So we make sure that in whatever we do, everyone else is informed and our interventions are transparent, are known, and we are able to give accountability.
Thank you very much for your submissions. I would like us to take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. I'm still with the Assistant National Director, Father Dennis Ochanda, discussing the principles of Laudato Si, a letter written by Pope Francis. In this particular episode, we're looking at the ecological message on how the church relates with the environment. Father, as we're still discussing, how do religious institutions cooperate with Caritas Uganda to ensure that the environment is conserved, that the people, the congregation is able to conserve and take care of the environment?
Thank you, Flavia. As I already earlier mentioned, the earth is for all of us. The earth is not only for Catholics, and the earth is not only for Caritas. It is for all of us. And a human being is a human being, no matter the religion. In our interactions and interventions, we don't draw a line between Catholics and the other human beings. When we go to a place, we go to the people of that place, no matter their faith. And so we have Catholics, we have members of the Church of Uganda, we have Muslims, we have members who subscribe and are disciples of the other faith. Ours is, can we get a human being in that place and tell this human being and work with this human being to preserve Mother Earth? And what I can testify here is that we have received all the cooperation we need from all the faith groups. That one I must be honest, and I must thank God that we are able to intervene together, work together, and ensure that the principles that help us to preserve Mother Earth are followed. So let the viewers know that the other religious groups are cooperating with us, and the parishes where we go, our own Catholic parishes, are offering us all the support, because Caritas is an arm of the Catholic Church in the parameter of charity and development. And so it needs the other arms so that the whole body grows. The arm can't be alone on its own. It has to be part of the other parts and part of the whole. And so the cooperation from the other religious groups is very, very commendable.
Still on the discussion of religious institutions, Namugongo Catholic Shrine is one of the religious institutions that hosts quite a number of people, especially on the 3rd of June. And we have cases of garbage disposal, waste disposal. How has Caritas Uganda, in the long run, been able to partner with the church to address the issue of environmental awareness and action, specifically on special days like the 3rd of June?
Thank you, Flavia. Thank you, viewers. At this point, let it be clear that Caritas is not outside the church. Caritas is the church, but the church in development and charity interventions. So when we go to a parish, it is one arm of the church that has gone to another arm. The parish is the pastoral arm, then Caritas is the charity and development arm. So it is the same thing, working, organically to make the system be alive, to make the system move. And so a place like Namugongo is ours, is of the church. And the presence of that arm or this arm called Caritas is very key, because then it comes in to say, look here, can we have, a clean environment, a conducive environment before, during, and after? And we must be grateful that the administration there has always said, yes, we are grateful. Whatever you can do in this connection, please, you have our blessing. We give you the space. And so that institution has offered us their availability and cooperation. And it is, of course, our prayer that all that shall be done in Namugongo this year and all the other years and all the other times should pay critical attention to the cleanliness of the environment and the preservation of the natural heritage, which is a very, very good site in that place.
Thank you very much. What measurable impact, or how would Caritas Uganda measure its impact in promoting environmental sustainability and resilience within the communities?
Yes, thank you. When we go to a community, we normally do what is called, needs survey, needs assessment, needs prioritization. We ask ourselves, what exactly should we do in this place? And the best answer comes from the people, not from us. Ours is to help them professionally to arrive at what can be done effectively and efficiently. But the best answer comes from them. Of course, after also we tell them that, yes, we have noted this in your community. Don't you think we could pay attention to that also? So for example, when we go to a place and they have challenges with washrooms, challenges with clean and safe water, challenges with housing, we interact with them in a very amicable and cordial way to arrive at some strategy to handle and fix that particular situation. And so we give ourselves space of time. Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? Is it 3 years? after injecting an intervention and see whether the path after inception is adhering to and achieving what we had planned. And so if we go, for example, to Bidi, where the refugees are, and there's a lot of, destruction of trees, of vegetation and other things, to construct houses, to cook and so on. Say, okay, can this 10, 20, 30 acres be designated for tree planting? And when that is done, we say, yes, we think we have achieved. Can we now ensure the sustainability and support factors are there, and we move to the next village and so on and so forth? So these are some of the things we do, apart from, of course, the many others that help us to ensure that Mother Earth is preserved and protected. And when we say Mother Earth, we should know that Pope Francis is quoting St. Francis of Assisi, who has been the Pope's inspiration, and thus, leading him to choose this name, Francis. Francis of Assisi is singing and saying, we humans look at the earth as our sister, as our mother. And a mother loves the children, and children also love the mother. The mother wants that the children should be alive. The children also want their mother to be alive. And that is how, the Pope is saying, okay, can we do something to preserve the earth, which is our common home, the earth, which is our mother, because it is we who are in charge of this mother. So what are we going to do for this mother so that this mother is here with us to ensure that our life is also protected? Thank you.
Okay, so in terms of environmental conservation and natural resources management, what are some of the success stories, I would say, Caritas Uganda has recorded in the effectiveness of environmental conservation and natural resources management in regards to the Laudatos Si framework?
Thank you. We must at this point be very grateful to CRS, which means Catholic Relief Services, a charity development and humanitarian arm of the United States Conference of Bishops. Theirs is 3 words: faith, action, results. They have partnered with Caritas Uganda, with the Episcopal Conference, and therefore with the dioceses, to do serious, rigorous, uninterrupted tree planting. This began about 2 years ago, and it is continuing annually. I should say the advocacy of Caritas, with the intervention, financial of course, of CRS, and the cooperation of the dioceses, have combined, blended very nicely, to lead to the establishment of forests in all the dioceses where this aid of CRS has gone. I can proudly mention Kasese, mention Kabale, mention Nebi, mention Hoima, where these interventions have gone, and a lot has taken place, not only in tree planting, but in tree growing, and ensuring that, yes, these interventions are sustainable and will be able to change the environment.
I thank you very much. What are some of the challenges Caritas Uganda has faced in trying to address environmental challenges within the country?
Thank you. Of course, whatever you do, there will be the other side, there will be challenges, there will be issues. Jesus himself had, issues with the people, yet he was God. So we ourselves will also have challenges. So one, of course, is that there are people who will ask you, you are telling us not to cut trees. How do we survive? Are you going to give us money, Caritas? Are you now going to give us money to survive every day? ours is trees, ours is firewood, ours is charcoal, you know. So you get yourself also caught up in your own intervention, because then you don't have the money, and possibly you see that existentially these people also don't have an alternative. So preserving earth vis-a-vis survival on earth. So that seems to be, you know, a huge challenge that has to be handled head on. And then two is the issue of the struggle to amass huge wealth instantly, which leads to rapid and terrible destruction of species, of these natural trees, natural resources, and so on. We see also a lot of that. Yes, you try your best to advance with your advocacy, but also you meet this bottleneck of, you know, attitudes that do not tally with Laudato Si. And then thirdly is the exploitation of mineral resources, which also affect the environment. Then there's the issue of constructions which people are doing, which need trees, which need, you know, bricks, which need sand, and so on and so forth. Timber, there's a lot of that. And you ask yourself now, what do we do? So when we face these challenges, of course, as I already said, we go into trainings, we go into advocacy, we go into, you know, telling people that yes, if the people before us spoiled the earth, what would have been our home? They used it responsibly, and that is why we are able to have it. Can we also use this responsibly and hand over a better earth to the people coming after us? Thank you.
So on the challenges of mindset change, we have challenges of politicians interfering, we have challenges of people looking for money and trying to survive. What strategies has Caritas Uganda adapted to be able to solve these environmental challenges or address the environmental challenges?
Yes, thank you. Caritas Uganda is busy telling people that one aspect of human beings being the image of God is work. We have to work, to be honest. We have to work, combine factors of production, make goods, sell, get money. And you know, to work means you should know how to work. So there's the issue of skills, for example. I'm happy that with funding from Caritas Norway, we are able to train refugees in Bidi to make shoes, make sweaters, make juice, make soap, so that they leave the environment intact. And we are happy that they are now able to do these things, sell, get money. So the work of Caritas is not getting money and giving money, but it is telling people that the image of God also means we must work, and work responsibly, and from the fruit of our work be able to live, be able to help others, be able to preserve Mother Earth. So that is really the key area we are focusing on to lead to the preservation of Mother Earth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father. Looking forward, what are the future plans and aspirations of Caritas Uganda in continuing its efforts towards environmental conservation?
Thank you. It is always good to refer to the past, to make sure present interventions are yielding the fruits expected, but also to ensure that you are able to do the same thing or better ones tomorrow. And so our plans are, first of all, we want to go into a lot of mindset change. We want to do a lot of that. Of course, you are not going to achieve that in 1 day, in 2 days. Somebody's mind has been like that for 30 years. You are not going to change it in 1 day or in 1 month. You have to journey with this person to tell him or her that the alternative you are suggesting is better than what the person has been entrenched in all this time. And so we want to go into that mindset change. Number 2, we want to tell people that yes, these interventions need the human resource, but also the financial resource. And this financial resource can be obtained sustainably locally. So we want to go into local fundraising within the Ugandan community so that we have our own resource base from which we can be able to fund interventions as and when they are needed. Donors are helping us, yes, but most of these donors are overseas. We want to become our own donors and also donors to people outside this country, so that when disaster strikes, they are able to write to us, or we are able to help them even without receiving any invitation from them. So mindset change will occupy most of our time in future. And then on the other hand, it will be the issue of local fundraising, local lobbying, local networks to ensure that our interventions are interrupted and are uninterrupted rather, and they yield the fruits anticipated.
Thank you very much, Father. We can talk about the environment and not talk about the 3 R's of the environment: the reduce, recycle, and reduce, reuse, recycle. How has Caritas Uganda helped the local communities understand the 3 R's in environmental conservation?
Thank you. As I already said, Caritas Uganda journeys with the people. We are not just the type who come, tell people something, intervene, run away. No. We enter the life of the people. We help people to identify the challenges that exist in their community. And together with them, with our professional guidance, we arrive at solutions, at interventions that are workable in that community. Because on the one hand, it is very easy to say reduce, reuse, recycle. But these have to be broken down into simple languages and actions that the people can understand. With, of course, alternatives. If you are telling them to reduce, now what will they use when they reduce this? If you are telling them to reuse, is that thing reusable? You know? And if you are telling them to recycle, can that thing be used again? So we journey with them to see that what we are proposing actually works in this community, actually makes this community better off. So that then, if it doesn't work, we professionally withdraw, rethink, re-strategize, and see what can be pertinent to that situation and that locality for the sake of the environment, but also for the sake of the people. Because the human being is the master of creation. But you can only master creation if you know that you are the master, and also if you know that what you are going to master is really there. Otherwise, you become the master of nothing. So that is what Caritas is seriously involved in.
As we come to a conclusion, how do we envision the role of Caritas Uganda in responding to the environmental changes locally and also globally?
Yes, thank you for that question. I can tell the viewers that be confident that Caritas Uganda will do whatever it can locally to ensure that our earth is protected. But Caritas Uganda is not a huge thing. We are 36 in the office. We have staff in the 19 dioceses. And even if we put all this together, we should be less than 300 in the whole country. But the success of our interventions will be visible if we are together in this enterprise. We have to be together because the message is given, the message has to be received, internalized, and put into use. And if this can be done, then we can be sure, yes, Caritas is working, yes, Caritas is achieving. But on the other hand also, let each one look at himself or herself as Caritas, because Caritas is love put into practice. Caritas is the Latin word for charity. It is not the work of the people put in office by the bishops. It is our work. Because the world is not for Caritas. The world is for you and me. And if I can accept that I am Caritas, I have to give what I am and what I have, then our work in future will be visible and the success will be far-reaching. And the glory will be to God, the joy for all of us.
Thank you very much, Father. I would like to get a last message from you concerning how people should be able to handle and take care of the environment as we come to celebrate the World Environment Day.
Thank you. I like telling the youth to keep their life well because life was given once. It is not going to be given to you again. And the opposite of life is death. There's nothing like a bit alive or a bit dead. Either you are alive or you are dead. So keep your life well. Number two, the earth was given to us once. God is not going to give another one. It was given to us, and here it is, and here we are. So what we have to do is to keep it well, so that it also keeps us well. And it is our joy that the people after us will live well. A teacher is happy if the student, if the pupil gets the things he or she has been taught. And our joy also is that the children whom God has given us will have a good world, a better earth to live in. And so that is my concluding message, really, to all the viewers. Let us use the earth well, because it was given to us out of love by God, and it was given once. It is in our hands. Let us use it well.
Thank you very much, Father Dennis. It was great having this insightful conversation with you. And to our viewers, we have been discussing Laudato Si, a letter written by Pope Francis on how we can be able to conduct our lives. Particularly in this episode, we have been discussing the ecological message to the Church regarding the environmental conservation. And may this dialogue inspire us to walk more gently on the earth and sow seeds for the future generation. Until next time, I've been Flavia Kunihira, your host. Keep watching UCTV.